Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Connect with VP Hecht, your podcast for all things student life at Florida State University. Today, I have two special guests with me, Julenny Rodriguez, our Assistant Director of Fraternity and Sorority Life, and Jibril Mustafa, the President of NPHC. So let's get started. Jibril, what is NPHC? What does it stand for?
So the National Pan-Hellenic Council, or NPHC, we're the governing body or council of 9 Black Greek letter organizations, and we were founded just to promote unity, service, and collaboration at a time where these things weren't accessible to us back in those times.
So some of our listeners and folks watching may want to join an NPHC group. What does that look like? What does recruitment look like in NPHC?
So for NPHC, we do things a little bit differently. Each chapter can select which semester they want to do intake, whether the fall or the spring, as well as how many members they would like to have. And as far as joining requirements, those vary by organization, but generally they'll have an academic piece, so you want to be in good academic standing, have some different campus involvements, as well as being true to yourself and your character. You want to find an organization that's true to yourself, and you don't want to align yourself with a different organization.
How do students learn about all Divine Nine and what they want to join and when they might have an opportunity?
Well, we have a saying in MPHC, it would be like, do your research. That's what a lot of people would say. And what that basically means is, going on the internet and kind of learning more about MPHC as a whole at first, and then learning about each individual organizations, like their founders, why they were founded, and the different kind of values and things that they stand for. And then once you kind of get that broader piece, you can go to your own campus and kind of meet the brothers or the sisters that they have on campus. Just go to their events, get to know them, because you want to find people that, like I said before, that you can kind of connect with and you kind of can form that bond with.
I want to talk more about the recruitment process. What does it look like? A student knows they want to join, right. They've done their research, they've figured it out, and now they're making that step to raise their hand. So what does that look like? And do they have to start with our FSL office?
There's definitely the FSL requirements that we have. So within all of our organizations, whether it's Pan-Hellenic, IFC, UGC, NPHC, or MGC, there's a mandatory orientation. Okay. You must attend the orientation the semester you're looking to join.
Important to note, the semester you want to join.
Yes.
So if I do the orientation but don't join, and then the next semester I still have to take it again.
Yes. You do have to attend the orientation. So let's say for this upcoming fall, you're interested in joining an organization, you go to orientation, but you're like, okay, I'm not going to be able to join this semester, and you're planning to
because maybe they're not taking a line.
Right. Then you would have to attend the orientation in the spring as well. So very important to note, the semester you're looking to join is also the semester you have to attend the orientation. And then there's our hazing modules and on Prevent Zone, and also our FSL module, which is a little learn about, just some hazing 101 pieces, as well as a little bit about what fraternity sorority life is, especially here at FSU. And then we also have our aspirant verification form that everyone who is interested in joining an organization goes in just to make sure you're a full-time student as one of our requirements. So those are just our FSL requirements, and orientation is really just a space for those interested in joining to get some information, get some training, some workshops, and just know what they're getting ready for as they look to join an organization.
And they may go to orientation before they know if their chapter they want to join is even taking a line.
Yeah.
So they need to be proactive and on top of things to make sure they're meeting these requirements.
Absolutely. And many of our students may have students who come up and be like, oh, I'm interested in joining, what do I have to do? So our organizations are well prepared and saying, oh, make sure you go to orientation so that they can learn. And even if they go to orientation in the fall and they're like, I don't know if I'm ready yet.
Yep.
Cool, you got some great information out of it. That way you're well informed. And if you're ready to join in the spring, come back and we'll get you ready and prepped. Those are more of our FSL side of things. When it comes to NPHC, a lot of it is going to that informational. So you learn how much is this going to cost me? Is there an application process? Am I having to do an interview? Which there is usually an interview process.
And each chapter might be very different.
Yes.
So they really need to focus on the group they want to join to hear what those are.
Absolutely. And so once you kind of go through and let's say you get the approval and you get that invitation to move forward, congratulations, you have now started your new member education process. So you go to new member education meetings where you learn about the organization, you learn about the history, you get to meet individuals, maybe some alum, so that you can start building that network. So it's really just a time where we say that the piece of discretion they like to talk about is really just that area of focus while you're going to school, while also learning that organization during that time. And then you're also probably practicing for that new member presentation at the same time. If the organization decides to do a new member presentation, you'll probably be preparing. And comes new member presentation day, and you're out to the public, and hello, welcome to Greek life.
So it seems very chapter specific and not necessarily a coordinated by the university process. So students need to take the initiative and really stay on top of all the due dates and the meetings.
Absolutely.
In order to show their interest enough.
Yes.
To have the opportunity to join.
Absolutely. And with NPHC and MGC, but specifically with NPHC, our orientation is usually always within that first 2 or 3 weeks of the semester. So if you're interested in like, okay, I want to know more, I want to make sure I have all my requirements, you can go to our website, go to the NPHC website, or come by the office, and we're more than happy to make sure that you have all the dates and information that you need to make sure you're best prepared to join.
So I know that NPHC is diverse. Tell me more about the diversity that's within it. I know they're started as historically black fraternities and sororities, but there's a lot more diversity now. So it's open to anyone who has an interest and shows commitment?
Yeah, so NPHC, like you said before, they're historically black Greek letter organizations, but
They're not exclusive.
yeah, we're not,
Very good. So what is the time commitment like for a new member? They decide they want to join, they've done their research, they show up. What is the time commitment like, both when you're going through the process and after initiation?
One thing that they say in the FSL office, once you join one of these organizations, it's kind of like adding a 3-hour course, and it's really about what you put into it. So if you want your org to do well on campus, you're going to put a lot of work in, you know, outside of the chapter meetings, outside of, you know, the general body meetings that you guys may have. So it's really just you get out what you put in, really.
Absolutely. And I think there's even a little bit an added piece to NPHC with that idea of do your research. You kind of have to commit to learning who these organizations are and what you're looking to join before you even made that decision to like, okay, I'm going to step forward and go to that informational or go to that rush meeting, or I'm going to go out to these events to really show my commitment that I'm ready to join and move that step forward and kind of receive that information. I'm like, okay, cool. So what's the next step? So there's that piece of also learning that commitment. I've done the research. Now I have to put the step forward and let them know that I'm interested.
And one of the things I think NPHC does better than some of the other councils is it is truly a lifetime commitment. Can you talk about that and the way in which when you graduate, you'll continue with your organization, and what does that look like in NPHC?
So the lifetime commitment piece, it comes from just like the really vast network that we have. I can say from my own experience, I took a trip to Maryland. You know, I had like my wristband and I had my lanyard hanging out, and me and my mom were going to get a rental car, and the guy that was giving us a rental car, he had the same bracelet that I had on, and he's like, oh, you're a member of my fraternity, you can have any car that you want on this lot.
Oh, God, you got a perk right there.
Yeah. So it's like one of those pieces, as well as like the alumni chapters that we have, and they go based on like the city. So there's one in Tallahassee that we have. Like once we graduate, we can join one of those. Or if I want to go back home to Tampa, they have quite a few number of alumni chapters in Tampa as well. And it's really just about, you know, just giving back. I got that generous offer to me. It's about paying it forward and give it to someone else.
And it's an incredible network for you, both personally and professionally, wherever you move after graduation. And so that's something folks thinking about this should consider, that this is a lifetime commitment, not just for their 4 years or a couple years at Florida State.
Yes.
Of course.
Now, what year in school is the ideal time to pursue joining an NPHC, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I would say probably your sophomore year, maybe just around there, just so you have a chance to get those campus involvements. You kind of get a feel, because it's not easy to adjust to college as it is. So you kind of want to adjust first, you know, get that good network of friends and support system beforehand. Get that GPA up if, you know, you need to do those kind of things. So I joined my sophomore year because that was like the perfect time for me. And I feel like that's kind of like, it's a good idea.
And now you're president of NPHC, so you're doing something right. Very good, very good. Juju, do you agree?
I do agree, especially within the NPHC Council, you're going to see a lot of our members join their sophomore, junior year. I do think maybe a lot of our students lean toward that junior year just so they can give a little, that first year they're adjusting to college. Yes. That second year they're like, oh, I am interested. What do I have to do? So then they're like, oh, I'm ready my junior year. And a lot of our sophomores are coming in with that idea. They already know what NPHC is. So they'll come in, they're like, all right, freshman year, I'm gonna make sure I have my grades together. I'm gonna make sure I show commitment so that they're ready their sophomore year to join.
Yeah. Is it an expensive endeavor for those watching? What's kind of the cost? Do you find it burdensome or is it manageable for your average FSU student?
Honestly, I'm not too sure about the other organizations. I can speak from my own. We had dues, they were about $2,500 or so, but that covered our entire undergrad. So it wasn't like we were paying those every semester or every year like you see at other times.
So they vary. They do range in the thousands.
Okay. And they can pay those over time, or is it a one-time fee?
Most organizations do require the payment to be due by a certain date.
Okay.
So they may say, okay, you can pay in different times during this time, but it needs to be paid by this date to be able to continue. But there is usually a deadline regarding that payment. And most organizations will provide you all that information.
So you can save up, or you can talk to your parents, you can figure out how you're going to do this.
So there is a financial commitment to it. It is a very much to each student who is prepared and ready to make that financial commitment. I personally would say anything over $1,000, a little bit of a commitment to make, but it is a commitment that all the students who have joined, it's the commitment that they're willing to make. Because even just the membership to join, there's also membership to maintain.
Yeah.
So there's membership to keep your active status, or if you have to pay regional dues or national dues on an annual basis, or however that may look like for the organization.
Okay. So one visible piece that students who aren't Greek know about NPHC is stepping and strolling. And if any of our students have gone to Market Wednesday, you've seen our amazing NPHC groups. What is stepping and strolling for those that don't know?
That's a good question. Strolling, well, I'll go with stepping first. Stepping is probably easier to explain. Stepping is more of like a rhythmic performance that we do. We'll clap, we'll stomp, and it's mostly just like making music with our bodies, making beats with our bodies. Strolling, like you said, you see us at Market Wednesday. It's more performative, and it'll be more like synchronized movements to like music. So I don't know if you've seen on like Market Wednesday or like the internet. My fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, we're best known for like our shimming our shoulders and on the internet, and like to Pretty Boy swag and to different things like that. And like that music is like very unique to the organization. You won't a lot of times see like different orgs strolling to like a different org's music and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because each NPHC organization has something unique within their strolling. Whether that's they add their hand sign, or maybe it's not called strolling, it's called hopping, right? So I think it's very unique for each organization, because they'll add their hand signs, they'll add their calls, or they'll add their shimmy, like Kappa Alpha Psi, so that when you're looking at it or you're looking at them stroll, you're like, oh, I know who that is, right? So it's something that both in the stepping and strolling.
It's a little bit of a trademark of the organization.
Yes.
One of the pieces I thought was so special when we did our ribbon cutting on the NPHC Park, which you all should check out right next to the Student Union, was to see the alumni come back and join into the stroll, because they still had the moves, 20, 30 years later. So there is that beautiful history, and it seems like a uniting factor for your brothers or the sisters. Do you find that? And did you get that sense? Were you at the ribbon cutting? Did you see?
It's funny because like chapters, like we'll pass on the same strolls that we always do, but also if you go like nationally, I've gone to many conferences with my fraternity, and we'll always like bounce ideas off of each other, and like we'll learn a stroll from like California, we'll bring it to Florida, and then like just different things like that can really just unite all of us together.
Looking back, what is your favorite memory or experience you had in your chapter or now as council president?
My favorite memory? I would probably say my new member presentation, just because like that's very unique to NPHC. It's like a big reveal that you would have with the brothers that you're coming into, like line brothers and things like that. And me and my line brothers, we were practicing and practicing and practicing. So
and before then, most people don't know you were joining. Yeah. So this is kind of the big reveal.
Yeah, the big reveal
for everyone to know who are the new guys or girls.
Yeah, and so it was just really like a lot of emotions, like very like exciting to see. Like my mom was there, my sister surprised me there, and like I had my friends there, my boss was there, and it was just like a big reveal. They were all there to support me, as well as like my line brothers too. Like they're all behind me, so it was really like really big moment for all of us, really.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, it is time now for Ask Amy. So the question we received is, we hear a lot from NPHC members, if you are interested in joining, to do your research, which you mentioned before. Dig in deeper. What does do your research mean? How did you do your research?
So coming into college, I didn't know too much about Greek life. Like I knew about fraternities and sororities, but I didn't have those key details when it came to joining. So it was more of I read on the internet a lot. I was on the internet a lot.
Great resource. Yes.
And I was looking at like all different fraternities, like, oh, what fraternity is this? Like, what do they do? Different things like that. And then I was kind of trying to connect what I saw on the internet to what I saw in my eyes. So I was going to Market Wednesday, and I was seeing them stroll, step, and hop. And then I'd go back to the internet, like, oh, why did they do that? Like, what does that mean? And then, like, just doing my research, I dug deeper and deeper, and I found that, you know, some fraternities are about scholarship, some fraternities are about achievement, and it was more about, like, trying to figure out where I could see myself. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I started, and then once from there, I just went to events like NPHC 101. I would go to the involvement fair just to get to know the brothers that were a part of the fraternity. And, yeah, I went to their informational meetings and different things like that.
Did you find it difficult to, as a young freshman or sophomore, to just go introduce yourself to some older students?
Honestly, it was very nerve-wracking. Yeah. I was very nervous, but it was one of those things where it's either day one or one day. And so we were like, let's make it day one. So we took that step out, and we just went ahead and introduced ourselves to different brothers and things.
Well, and that's great advice, especially for our new students who are coming to Florida State, to jump in, because look, it worked out really well for you, clearly. So we're glad you weren't too afraid to approach. So that's amazing. That is all for this episode of Connect with Hecht, your podcast for all things student life at Florida State University. Please continue to follow us and submit your ideas for our next episode.